Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. And for this video, I've got a very special guest joining me today. And let me just say that it's an absolute honor to have him on my blog series. So please, help me in welcoming the creator and host of the movie universe, the one, the only, the Movie Fan!
Hey guys, Movie Fan here, and I am honored to be a part of this video. Joshua and we've been doing some stuff for a while now, and this is the first time I've ever done a blog with him on his channel. So I'm especially honored to be here.
So, to start things off, let's do a little recap of one of DreamWorks' most beloved animated film franchises, Kung Fu Panda.
The franchise started back in 2008 when we were introduced to our main character Po, and pretty soon he learns that he is destined to become the Dragon Warrior, even though he doesn't fully realize it yet. Then in 2011 came Kung Fu Panda 2, where Po has to confront his past in order to find inner peace and to stop the evil Lord Shen from destroying Kung Fu. Then in 2016 we got Kung Fu Panda 3, where Po finally meets his biological father, Li Shan, and he must confront his most powerful opponent yet, General Kai, who has the ability to use Qi as a weapon. But of course, these movies inspired some spin offs, such as Secrets of the Furious Five, Kung Fu Panda Secrets of the Scroll, Secrets of the Masters, a little short called Panda Paws, the Amazon Prime series Kung Fu Panda The Paws of Destiny, the Netflix series Kung Fu Panda Dragon Knight, the Christmas special Kung Fu Panda Holiday, and of course the TV series Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness.
Plus, in 2018, Kung Fu Panda influenced a motion simulator attraction at the DreamWorks Theater at Universal Studios Hollywood called Kung Fu Panda The Emperor's Quest, which replaced Shrek's 4D midquel. And after seeing it in September 2022, I found it to be a really fun and thrilling experience. And just a few weeks ago, Master Po gave us his fourth animated film. But is it as good as the previous three? Well, we're about to find out. Released on March 8th, 2024, the movie is Kung Fu Panda 4. And now, on for the plot of the movie. During this new chapter, Po must train a new warrior when he's chosen to become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace. However, when a powerful shape-shifting sorceress sets her eyes on his Staff of Wisdom, he suddenly realizes he's going to need some help. Teaming up with a quick-witted Korzak fox named Zen, Po soon discovers that heroes can be found in the most unexpected places. So, what do we think of this movie? Well, in my opinion, this movie was absolutely excellent. But at the same time, it doesn't top the second movie as my all-time favorite sequel in this franchise. What about you, fan?
For me, it was awesome. I love the action. I love the story. Although I admit, just like you, Joshua, to me, movie 2 is definitely the best sequel. However, for this film, I would say it follows close behind it by about maybe that much. But either way, this movie was awesome to watch.
So, with all that said, let's move on to Mustang Notes. On December 3rd, 2010, then DreamWorks Animation CEO Jeffrey Katzenberg said that there was a possibility the series could have 3 more sequels after Kung Fu Panda 3, bringing it to a 6th film series. On January 13th, 2016, Collider asked the filmmakers of Kung Fu Panda 3 about the possibility of a 4th film. Co-director Jennifer Yoy Nelson stated, "It's one at a time. We want to make this a perfect jewel, and then we'll see what happens after that." Co-director Alessandro Carloni said, "With the sequels, we don't want to try to have them feel open-ended. We want it to feel like a completed journey, and we feel like this movie does. And then, if a fantastic story presents itself, great." On August 2nd, 2018, When asked about the possibility of Kung Fu Panda 4, Nelson replied that she always saw the series as a trilogy, but was open for a fourth installment as long as the franchise focused on Po. In August 2022, DreamWorks Animation confirmed that Kung Fu Panda 4 was in production. It was also announced that Mike Mitchell, who is a creative consultant on the first film and an executive producer on the third film, was set to direct the movie, with Stephanie Mustang co-directing and Rebecca Huntley producing. By December 2023, it was reported that Jonathan Abel and Glenn Berger returned to write the screenplay, with Darren Lemke joining as co-writer in February 2024. Director Mitchell described Kung Fu Panda 4 as a love letter to the first film. Despite its connections to previous entries in the series, he wanted the story to stand out on its own. So, let's talk about the animation.
When it comes to the animation, Kung Fu Panda has some of the best, mostly due to the talented work of the animators for DreamWorks Studios, but also because they had a little outside help, mostly from stunt performers that worked on the Marvel films. And here's an interesting tidbit for you. In this movie, they take a more anime style approach in the production of this. Unlike the first three films, where, well, it's more traditional Chinese kind of puppetry or ancient scroll look. For this one, it's more of an anime style, and it shows quite well. It's not really traditional to what we've had so far, but at the same time, it makes for a good movie. What do you think, Joshua?
Well, in my opinion, I still think DreamWorks' style of CGI is absolutely excellent. And like with a few previous films, I think Jellyfish Pictures does great with handling the additional asset production services using proprietary softwares like Primo and Moonray. Plus, aside from the 2D and anime styled animation, I just love this paintbrush effect that happens during a few scenes. And while this movie does feature the Valley of Peace, I like the new locations like the Happy Bunny Inn, which almost makes me think of Aunt Josephine's house from the Series of Unfortunate Events movie. And there's Juniper City, which seems pretty similar to Gongman City from the second movie. Also to note, the Kung Fu is the true star of the movie, and in my opinion, the choreography is absolutely awesome. Plus, I think the humor in this movie is pretty good, and like the How to Train Your Dragon films and a couple others like that, I think this is one of the few DreamWorks films that doesn't use pop culture references. However, while this movie includes a few great throwbacks from the first three movies, there are a couple of moments that are a bit cliched. Anyway, that's all we got for Mustang notes. So, let's talk about the characters and the voice actors who brought each and every one of them to life. The main hero and dragon warrior, Master Po, is voiced by Jack Black, well known from films like The Never-Ending Story 3, Tenacious D, School of Rock, DreamWorks Shark Tale, the 2005 King Kong remake, the Goosebumps movies, and of course, the Super Mario Bros. Movie from last year. During this movie, Po learns that he would become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace, and that he'll pass the Dragon Warrior title onto a successor before he settles into his new role. To me, while Po still has his excitable personality and his love for Kung Fu, there are times where he acts kind of like how Master Shifu was towards him in the first movie. Plus, I don't know about you, but I think Jack Black's cover of Baby One More Time, which was originally performed by Britney Spears, is absolutely awesome due to the rock and roll rhythm.
Well, let's get real. No, who could really play Poe better than Jack Black? He's always been good with the comedy, and he even shows that Poe can be a lot smarter than he lets on, too.
Next we come to the first new character, Zen, voiced by Aquafina, whom was in Jumanji The Next Level, Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon, the MCU's Shang-Chi movie, DreamWorks' The Bad Guys, and of course, the Little Mermaid remake from last year. In my opinion, Zen is a pretty likable character due to her crafty and quick-witted personality. Also, I find it interesting that Zen has learned to adapt to her situation and surroundings as a young cub. Plus, I think her style of kung fu is pretty impressive due to her being extremely swift and agile and having the ability to jump and dodge attacks with ease.
For Zen, I like Zen because she's your stereotypical thief who, well, needs to find her right path. And Aquafina, she does a great job of playing her. I'm not too familiar with Aquafina, to be honest, but from what I've seen in this movie, I like the way she works because, she really played this part really well.
Master Shifu is voiced by Dustin Hoffman, well known from The Graduate, Hook, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, along with Racing Stripes, and The Tale of Despero. Now, from my perspective, it's kind of hard to talk about Shifu since, like in the second movie, he doesn't have a big role here. But all I can say is that he's still a great mentor character, and I also like that he explains the reason why the Furious Five were mostly absent in this movie, due to them being on kung fu missions.
I like him in this one a lot better than I did in the third movie because in the third movie, they made him a little more comedic, and I'm sorry, that's not the Master Shifu I know. Granted, they do have a little comedy with him, but it's nothing like they did in movie 3. Instead, he's trying to give wisdom, but once again, Poe's not listening. And interesting fact, this is the only time they truly acknowledge that he is a red panda. Now, I'm sure a lot of y'all looked it up online and saw that, he's listed as a red panda. But let's get real, folks. He doesn't look like a red panda. Not really. He looks more like a raccoon. But here, obviously, they're cementing that once and for all. So, okay, I'm good with that.
Next, we come to Poe's dads, Mr. Ping and Li Shan, voiced by James Hong and Bryan Cranston, respectively. During this movie, both Li and Ping become co-workers at the noodle shop, and to me, they're both great dads. Plus, I think they share a very funny subplot due to them following Poe's trail in order to ensure his safety.
Like Joshua said, they were great together because, when you got these two together, they really show that they care for their son, which is a great thing. Even though Poe is adopted by Mr. Ping, and of course Lee is his biological father, they don't see that as an obstacle. They work together. And in a way, that kind of serves as a good lesson for everybody in the world.
Another character to talk about is Tai Lung, the villain of the first movie, once again voiced by Ian McShane, whom I remember from Agent Cody Banks, Henry Selick's Coraline, DreamWorks Shrek the Third, the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie, Jack the Giant Slayer, and Cartoon Saloon's My Father's Dragon. Now, for those who don't remember, in the first movie, after breaking out of prison, Tai Lung sought to claim the Dragon Scroll and take his place as the Dragon Warrior once again. However, he finally met his match when he was defeated by Poe using the power of the Wuxi Fingerhold. Anyway, during this movie, Tai Lung makes a brief return when he was summoned from the spirit realm along with several other villains, and he had his kung fu talent stolen from him by the chameleon. In my opinion, Tai Lung's appearance in this movie was absolutely awesome and nostalgic, kind of like the Spider-Man villains in No Way Home. And I liked the part where he and the others bowed to Poe in respect after the chameleon was defeated.
It was awesome to have him back because he really showed that ferocity that he's famous for. And believe it or not, Tai Lung even shows that he could even change in the end.
Last but not least, we come to the new villain, the chameleon, voiced by Viola Davis, whom was in films like Disturbia, The Help, Ender's Game, DC's The Suicide Squad films, and she voiced Helen Henshaw in the Buttercups episode from Sophia the First. Now, according to director Mitchell, he sought to make the chameleon a more brain than brawn kind of villain. He went on to say that she is the smartest and most supernatural foe that Poe has ever faced, and she is described as a mirror to Poe in that both characters were underestimated by society for their bodies and went on to gain high status. Plus, to me, I think her ability to shapeshift and mimicking voices is very twisted, and the fact that she uses her tongue to copy her victims' abilities kind of makes me think of what the Nerdlugs did to the NBA players in Space Jam.
Viola Davis, I'll admit, she surprised me big time. Now, I am familiar with her work. I have seen a few of her movies, and I knew she was going to be the chameleon. But when I saw her on the screen, I didn't even recognize her voice. For a second there, I was like, wow, she's a more talented voice actor than I first thought, because she didn't even sound like she usually does. So, points to her big time.
And now, on to our final words. Overall, Kung Fu Panda 4 is an excellent movie. While it doesn't top the first movie or the second one in my opinion, I think it has fantastic CGI animation and awesome Kung Fu choreography. Also, the story is epic, nostalgic, and twisted. The main character Poe is lovable, like in the past 3 films, and I like that he's gained a new successor. Zen is a fast, sarcastic, and hilarious new character, despite the fact that she was a deceiver, and the villainous chameleon is clever and devious. Also, the score by Hans Zimmer and Steve Mazzaro is absolutely top-notch. So, I say this is a movie that you folks should definitely check out in theaters.
Well, for me, it's really quite simple. I love this movie. Because I'll be honest with everybody, when I saw the trailers for it, I actually had high expectations, and this actually superseded them. Now, granted, just like Joshua and I said before, it's not exactly as good as movie 2, but again, for me, it follows pretty close right behind it. So again, I absolutely love this movie. I love the fight choreography in there. It's very well done. And as an actual martial artist, I really appreciate what they did to really bring this to life. Now, I've always appreciated Kung Fu Panda for its fight choreography to begin with, and this movie's no different because, once again, they really outdid themselves with the fight choreography. So for me, I would say that if you haven't seen this movie yet, you really should check it out because I think it's a great film the entire family can enjoy.
So together, we give this movie a 94% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. I'd like to thank the movie fan for joining me today.
You're welcome, Joshua. Thanks for inviting me, by the way. And hopefully in the near future, we can do another collaboration like this again.
That'd really be great, fan.
This is Movie Fan, signing off.
Take care now, fan. As for the rest of you at home, be sure to join me for my next blog. Mustang Power. Doctor, is this the person Master Steven told me about?
Precisely. And I summoned you here in hope that you could help your co-creator.
What?
You see, a few years ago, some things happened. Mostly terrible ones. Courtesy of the evil COVID welder and his contagious bat minions. But on 9/11 last year, before the welder was destroyed, Joshua became cursed with a doom spell that is set to impact and kill him by the end of next year.
But what can I do to help?
You are his nobody. However, you were not born like the others. You were created from the imagination of 2 creative brains. So Master Steven has told me. And you hold half of who Joshua is.
Where can I find him?